Hey, I'm Chris Cook, and we're going to talk about how we're going to bait pigs in to get them to where we can get good shots with small caliber pellet guns. First thing, you want to get some crocks. If you ain't crocking, you ain't rocking. Second, you need some post hole diggers. The handles can match if they want. I prefer the non-matching handles, custom. But seriously, here's what we're going to do. We're going to dig a hole here. It's going to force this pig to get his head down into the ground. That's going to eliminate his nose, and that's going to keep his head still. When we're shooting at these targets, the brain cavity on these pigs are small. When we're shooting a small caliber, we need to be very precise. So no matter how well you can shoot, the pig may not want to cooperate, and he keeps moving his head. So you can hit a dime at 100 yards, that's fine, but if that's a moving target, that's not happening. We need these things to be perfectly still to be the most accurate that we can be. So what we're going to do is dig us a little hole here to put some corn in, and we're going to make this pig get his head down in that hole. It's going to do two things: eliminate his nose, which just always helps, and some of his, his vision too. You don't have to go deep, but you want to be able to where only one pig can get to it, because if you make a pile of corn, you're going to have competition. And every time a pig comes up, he's going to want to fight for his part of the corn, and that's making him move. So the idea here is to have a concentrated pile of corn, but in the ground where only one pig can get to it. So one pig's going to come up here, he's going to see this. We're going to put some pig oil in it, a little scent. He's going to see that, get his nose down. That's going to eliminate his scent, but he's going to get his nose down. Most importantly, we're going to make him face that direction. We want that forehead facing right at us. So we're going to use some guide sticks, make him stand where we want him to stand, and make him have his head down still so that we can get a good shot at him. That's about a foot deep. Look, you can go as deep as you want. Here's what's going to happen though. The deeper you make that hole and the farther the corn goes down, when the pigs do come in and they eat the corn they can reach, they're going to start digging this hole out to get down in the ground. So they're going to break this off. You're going to end up with a great big hole that we don't really want. But so what we're going to do, put some corn in there, put some pig oil to get that scent, put some more corn. We want it about this far from the top of this hole, because we want this nose down, which is going to tip that forehead forward. So we don't want to make a pile, because that's going to have his head up. We want his head to be facing down. So we're going to put a couple of inches in there. I like to put the pig oil. I think just gives them some scent, gives them a little better idea it's there. Put some little corn. Remember, you don't want it all the way full. We want them to have to put their nose down. Get as much scent around as you can. We'll put a little up there. We put pig oil on the logs. We want scent everywhere. So what we're going to do now, remember, we're sitting there. We want this pig facing this way. So we're putting some guide sticks. We'll make him stand where it's just like trapping. If you're trapping a coyote and you need his foot to be in an exact spot, this is the same thing we're doing. So he's not going to stand here, right? We got a pole here, this little stop. It doesn't look like much, but a pig's not going to stand on this. His feet are going to be like that. So put you some sticks around, some guide sticks, which will make them have to stand where you want. They don't have to be big. And remember, his head's going to be down, so you don't want anything tall right here, because your shot on a pig 50 pounds is only going to be about this high off the ground by the time his head's down. So you need to make sure you're getting clear to there. So don't stack these sticks up like this, but do put them around like this. Put this up here. But these little things, it's a big deterrent from where they step. I know it don't look like much, but look, these pigs usually come from this way. So when they're coming in, approaching this way, you can see the tracks. When they come in, I want him to come up here. The first pig to smell that, see that, he's gonna walk up. He is not going to stand this way. His feet would be right here. He's not going to stand that way. He's not going to stand that way, unless he's a really big pig that could reach over. But the smaller pigs, the size that we're shooting with small calibers, 50 up to 100 pounds, he's going to get just like this, put his head right down there. He's facing that stand exactly where we want him. You can even pile it around there. Sometimes I pile it on the top to make them have to, you know, kind of root around for it. But we're trying to, basically what we're trying to do is eliminate the competition part, because the fighting is what keeps them moving. So you can imagine, you know, you got corn out like this, and you got a pig, he has to eat here, he has to eat here, eat here, eat here. He's moving all the time. We need this pig to be standing still. We want him to have his own spot. So whichever pig comes up here, he starts eating on this corn. I know he's going to be facing this way, and I know other pigs aren't really going to be messing with him too much because they can't really see. They know he's eating, but when you put a pile of corn like this, they start fighting each other and pushing each other. We don't need that. We need them still. So we're going to just kind of force this thing to put his head right where we want it. And when he gets his nose down in there, if the wind does shift, his friends might smell you, but if the wind does shift, he doesn't pick up that smell. His nose is in there. This is really good for bow hunters too, especially whenever you need to draw your bow. Get their nose down, get their head and their eyes down, gives you a good chance to draw your bow. But for the air gun part, for what we're doing, we need that head-on shot or a perfect broadside. I prefer the straight head-on, so we're putting our guide sticks this way. All right, I haven't been to all of y'all's ranches, so I can't speak for your pigs. I'm telling you what I've seen from experience. Most times an animal, pigs included, are not gonna stand on top of the food that they're eating. So if you pour this corn in a line, rather than spread out, I'm gonna show you just a simple line. Doesn't have to be big, doesn't have to be fancy. We're just trying to not make it spread all over the place. So when pigs approach this, they don't stand over here and eat. They're not going to stand and put their feet in their food. They're going to stand this way. That's facing right at the feeder. Now, if pig come in this way, maybe he could stand this way. Well, we don't want that. We don't want the butt end shot. We want the head end shot. So again, use the sticks. Force this pig to go to that side of that line. I put a line of corn here last night. I put sticks here, but I want you to look. All of the tracks are right here. There's no tracks on this side of that line of corn because I had all of these sticks up. So by putting these sticks here, keeping them from standing on this side, when they come around here to eat, you know that they're going to be facing this way because they're not going to stand this way. There's exceptions. There's going to be a pig in your herd that's going to stand in his corn. So this is not guaranteed. This is just most times they're going to stand just like this. And you can see that from last night's activity. All of the tracks are right here. That line of corn was in the same spot I just put mine. No tracks on this side. All the tracks are on this side. That's for a head-on shot. If you want a broadside shot, turn your line the other way. Just put corn in a line this way. That's a big line. I should have done a little smaller one. But you get my point here. These pigs are going to come stand this way. Turn your line depending on which way, what kind of shot you want. I like the head on. I put my lines left to right. Forces him to put his head toward me. He thinks he's getting food. I know he's walking into a trap.